What's up everybody and welcome to the channel. Today we are going to be doing one of my favorite mods for any car, which is installing a new exhaust system. So here is the AWE touring exhaust for the FL5 Honda Civic Type-R. Now if you own any of the 10th generation Honda Civic Type-Rs, Honda Civic Si's, or the 11th generation Si's and Type-Rs, as well as the DE5 Integra Type-S, we have these kits listed on our website, links down below. So if any of those cars, take a look at the links below to pick up your own AWE exhaust for your car. We've had AWE exhaust on most of our cars. They just sound so good. You got all the pure exhaust note without any of the annoying drone. So perfect setups. Let's take a quick look at what this exhaust is gonna feature. So of course we have AWE's 180 technology. So technically this touring kit has this section which looks like a muffler. However, this is more of a resonator to eliminate drone but give you all the sound. The tracker version is also available where you won't have that at all, or even extra sound. We got the 3 chrome exhaust tips, black is available, and then all the piping and everything like that. So this is gonna look super cool on the Type-R. Let's get one last listen to the car in the stock form. Pretty quiet, as you can tell. I just gotta move the car forward a little bit. You just hear the engine. You don't hear any of the exhaust tone. A lot of turbo sounds, which is sick, but we gotta liven up that exhaust. So with the car all up in the air, first order of business, your kit is gonna come with some instructions, and you can even scan the QR code right here. It'll take you to all the detailed installation instructions. And when we take a look at everything, you get a really good depiction of how to take everything off. So this is super easy. I like how AWE has all the instructions laid out for you. And then of course this video hopefully will help you get everything lined up and perfect. So we're also gonna go ahead and take off a few of these bolts of this under tray just to give us more leeway. And then as you can tell, we have much better access to get into these bolts. So with all those bolts now removed, I went ahead and took that liquid penetrating oil and sprayed all the rubber hangers. That's basically what is holding the rest of the exhaust in place. Keep in mind there is one plug in the muffler for the stock valve. So now this is kind of the tedious part. We're gonna slowly work our way through the exhaust system with the rubber hangers, just using some channel locks and flatheads and some of that grease spray, and hopefully get them all removed, and then we can drop the entire exhaust and unplug the rear section. So with the stock Type-R exhaust out, not the worst thing, just a little low under there to get some leverage, but really not the worst thing in the world. Here is one look now at the factory kit. Kind of cool that Honda does have a factory active valve. However, you would think it would do more. Just, it's so quiet and you really cannot tell a difference between it going through the side mufflers and then the center one, which is where the valve is. My wife's office is upstairs. I don't know if she's on a phone call or not right now, but let's hopefully not annoy her and anyone she is possibly talking to on the phone. Let's fire this thing up. Not a bad little hum to it. All right, that's a pretty decent idea of what this car could possibly sound like with the AWE kit. Already, that is actually really cool sounding. You would think a 4-cylinder Honda Civic would sound awful, but that actually sounded pretty insane. So first on the list for reinstalling the new kit, AWE gives you this. This is kind of a dummy simulator valve, basically. We're gonna plug that into the factory valve. That way the car thinks it's still there, thinks it's still working, no big deal. And then we have a zip tie as well. We're just gonna zip tie this whole wiring harness up with the original one up above, just keeping it out of the way nicely, as you can tell. Onto installing the front pipe. There is that stock down pipe and then the entire gap leading to the opening basically behind the engine into that center portion. So it shouldn't be too crazy to get to. Kind of got to fish it in there like we fished it out. Just spin it a little bit. And then we're going to use the gasket that the kit has come with, and that's going to go onto this flange right here. Looks like there's going to be only one way to do it, just the way these are all lined up. So just rotate it until you get to the right spot like that. And then we can line this up nicely. And then for this mid pipe, we're gonna reuse the rubber bushing that was in the center. Just go ahead and slide that on here. And then let's lift this up and kind of line up the front with that front pipe that we just installed. And we'll try to wiggle that in best we can, along with getting this rubber hanger all squared away. Rubber hanger's all good. And then this clamp right here, we're just kind of fish up into here. It's a little dark, as you can tell, but we should be able to move this up, and we'll slowly line that up in a little bit once we get everything tightened up. So next up, let's install the muffler. You're gonna want it in this orientation. I've already gone ahead and put the hangers on the front, and the ones are still sitting here in back. Might be a little challenging one person, but let's get one hanger on at a time. So with all the pipes now installed, it is on to the tedious part, which is lining up everything, the fine tuning, making sure the exhaust looks perfect. I'm gonna start with the exhaust tips. Now it is funny the way AEW packages these. Of course, you have the box with the exhaust tips. Every car either has 2 or 4 exhausts. Of course, the Civic Type-R a little interesting, so we got 3 of them in here. Kind of funny to see an empty spot. But you can get these in the chrome color or black. I went with chrome, I think it contrasts very well against the diffuser. We're just gonna line up all the exhaust tips and basically fit the muffler section in the rubber hangers. That way I can get that nice and good looking. And then I'm gonna move on to the front pipe that is attached to the down pipe. And then from there, we can get everything else lined up. But that looks sweet already, those tips. We'll get a much better look in a little bit. And after tightening everything up, we're still nice and lined up. So I would say as far as lining up any exhaust, this is one of the easiest ones, following AWE's directions, of course, hopefully this video as well. That is a very straightforward kit to get looking really nice. Those tips look super cool. Now let's do the first startup. I'll let it heat up a little bit, and then I'll check the tightness of all the bolts, and then we can work on getting the 2 under trays back into place. But really not a bad install. So climbing in, let's get our first initial startup. See what this thing is gonna sound like. All right. In the garage, of course, echoing a bit. Nice. That is definitely sounding much more like what we're wanting from stock. That is gonna be pretty sweet. Has a nice... That is a good tone as it warms up a little bit. First drive now with the car with the AWE exhaust. The cool thing is the muffler in the back technically isn't actually a muffler, it's more of a resonator. Basically has chambers in it to turn these sound waves 180 degrees to cancel themselves out for basically the drone frequencies. So that's the cool thing with AWE's mufflers, and I keep calling them mufflers, they're not really mufflers, but what they do is they cancel the drone, make it to where your exhaust is not going to be annoying sounding, but you get all the awesome sounds to it. Has a really good tone to it. Man, if I go to 6th gear, you know, we're at 1500, you literally don't hear anything. That is so cool. So that is about going to wrap it up for today's video, installing the AWE touring exhaust on the FL5 Honda Civic Type-R. Once again, take a look at the links down below. We have this kit for both generation Type-Rs, the SIs, and this one is going to fit the FK8 Integra as well. Let's do one last look at it. Looks really good, pretty similar to stock, of course, going with those chrome tips. I think they look really good in that black diffuser, filling it out super nicely, and of course with that rear piece back on, that muffler section is nicely hidden, and then everything, you can see the pipes going up to that front pipe. But overall, can't complain at all. Civic Type-R is looking good. Once again, I'll have everything linked down below. AWE, they make some awesome kits. We put a lot of their kits on pretty much most of our cars just because they give you that tone without the drone. So they don't sound annoying, they just sound good all the time. But anyways, take a look at the links below. They have the track versions, the touring versions for many of these Honda Civic cars, so definitely check them out. That is then for today's video. If you enjoyed it, be sure to give it a big thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, stay tuned for plenty more content to come, and I'll see you all in the next video.